Hello and welcome to the Janome channel. My name is Serena and I sew up all things vintage. So on a very beautiful spring day, I will be sharing a very spring inspired baby outfit. A lot of my friends and loved ones have brought new life into the world and I just can't help but gift them some beautiful vintage outfits because I do love to see a baby in vintage baby clothes, and I think personalized gift is the best way to show how much I love them and a great way to congratulate them on their new special bundle of joy. So I'll be using my Janome Skyline S9 to create some very beautiful personalized and detailed baby clothes. If you would like to see me sew up this ensemble, go ahead and like and subscribe to the Janome channel, as well as follow them on some of their other social media platforms. Now let's get into it. For the patterns, I'll be using some modern but vintage inspired patterns. One's from Fresh Stitch Pattern for the romper and Little Lizard King Aubrey bonnet for the cute little bonnet to go with it. My machine was already set up for embroidery, so I wanted to embroider the little center section of the romper with the baby's initial. Shortly after embroidering, I realized that it was just a little bit too much white for my liking, so I went back and embroidered the initial on the main fabric, which is this beautiful blue and white floral print that screams China, tea parties, and spring. The silhouette of this modern pattern is very vintage, and to add that extra vintage flair, I put on some trim and I layered and stacked my trim so that way I could get the most detail. Not only does this allow me to make it extra special and unique, I get to use up some of the shorter scrap pieces of trim in my stash. To finish up the front bodice, I sew up the side front seams and then I add even more trim to the front by top stitching this very thin lace over the seam. Then I repeat the steps on the other side, and this will complete most of the bodice because I want to add even more embroidery detail. When my children were babies, it was long before I had this embroidery machine, and so I used to buy a bunch of these applique collars from a local fabric store, and I would use them up. And while I was working on this, I found a couple that I hadn't used before, and I was just about to use this when I thought, I have this machine that's capable of doing this same thing, so why don't I make my own instead of using one of these old pre-made ones? This is something I would have loved to do when my children were small, so I wanted to give it a try, so let's get into it. I found a PDF pattern for a newborn applique collar, and I just love white on white embroidery like the example before, so I downloaded the file, sent it over to the Janome, and started to stitch it out with some white thread. It's kind of off-white, so that way it has that contrast on the white cotton. I used a tearaway stabilizer for this, and then once it was ready, I put the fabric right sides together and I sewed as close to that embroidery stitching as possible so that way I can turn it around and have it a lined collar, unlike the pre-purchased applique that was just a single layer. Now I baste it onto the front of the bodice and get it prepared for lining, which I did sew off camera because it's the exact same steps as the main fabric. I think I've taken a liking to making a few baby garments because I am able to do things with these garments thanks to the Janome Skyline S9 that I was not able to do when my own children were younger. It costs a lot of money for me to hire out the embroidery for my pieces, so I would only reserve that for special occasions, which were birthdays, and you don't get very many baby birthdays. You get one or two until they're a little bit older and they're no longer interested in wearing my pieces and they start developing their own style. So this gave me an opportunity to make the things that have been in my head for a long time, but with the freedom of not having to worry about the extra cost of sending it to someone else to embroider. So this was a very fun project for me to take on. I lined the bodice in a white cotton. I prefer to make baby clothes in natural fibers and cottons. So once creating it, just like I did the main fabric, I put everything right sides together and start sewing it up. Only the bodice of this piece is lined. The romper, or the bubble romper should I say, is unlined. Great thing about this pattern is it comes with two versions for the bubble romper. I had a limited amount of fabric because I knew I wanted to make something special with the scrap, so I went with the narrow romper instead of the full-on bubble, which has less fabric in it. Now it's time to rave about the stitch plate. I do sew with a lot of vintage sewing machines, and the stitch plates are a lot less detailed as the one here. So I love that when I'm working with indie patterns and they change up the seam allowance, I have the extra stitch plates because this pattern is a 1/2 inch seam allowance instead of 5/8, and it has so many markings that it's okay for me to do that. So it makes the process a little bit more smoother, and I won't have to stop to measure and or mark my stitching line. The side seams were left open up until this point, so now it's time to close them up by putting the main fabric and the lining right sides together, stitching, then taking it over to the ironing board to get a good press. Now it's time to start on the bottoms. The bottom back has a center seam, so I do a flat felt seam so that way I can cover the raw edges and I don't have to pink and or use a serger. I just like the really nice flat seamless look on the inside, and I feel like it'd be less irritating to a baby's skin. I left about 1 inch at the top of the romper open, and I seam those down so that way it creates a little bit of a placket so that the baby can get in and out. With the back seams done, it's time to put the romper together, or the bottom should I say, back together. So I take the front, and that was cut on the fold, so I put them right sides together and start sewing up the side seams. Of course, I want this to be nice and neat and raw edges covered, so I do another flat felt seam on the side seams as well. For access and easy diaper changes, I have to add a placket at the crotch area, and luckily for me, this pattern has a self-faced placket, so all I have to do is a couple folds and top stitching, and I'm able to achieve the placket. Then I move on to sewing the casing for the leg elastic. Once the casing is made, I grab a safety pin and a 1/4 inch elastic, and I start feeding it through the casing. Now, in order to avoid pulling the elastic too far into the romper bottom, I go ahead and either add a pin at the end or I take it to the machine and stitch straight away. So here is how I finish it up, by adding a straight stitch straight across. Some people like to do a zigzag. I just do a straight stitch since I'm only doing this to hold the ends in. Now with a basting stitch, I gather down the romper bottom. I put it right sides together, avoiding the lining fabric on the bodice, and then I sew it down. Make sure that you match your side seams on both the romper and the bodice so that way everything aligns perfectly and you get a flawless finish. Moving on to the bonnet, I start sewing up the side of the bonnet to the center of the crown. This is a really quick sew. It's super easy to do, and it doesn't require too much skill, and it's sewn in a way that you don't have to ease anything in, which is usually something you have to do with headwear. I have a tiny bit of trim left, and I want this bonnet to match the outfit as much as possible, so I go ahead and add that to the visor of the bonnet, which flips back or forward for sun protection in the baby's face. You can interface the visor, but my rule of thumb for when I'm making baby clothes to make it as comfortable as possible is to avoid using too much interfacing. So I do tend to stick to a more stable cotton material, so that way it has a little bit more structure to make it not look wrinkled, but also I don't have to put any kind of interfacing because I don't want it too rigid. For very soft baby skin, I want it flexible, comfortable, because they usually sleep and nap in all of their clothes. Once the visor is basted onto the main fabric, I sew up the lining fabric, and then I put everything right sides together and sew around the perimeter, leaving about 2-inch gap at the nape so that way I can flip it right sides out and press it, and then I finish it up with some hand stitching to cover that opening. You want the lining to be just as smooth and just as nicely done as the main fabric, because one of the perks to this particular pattern and lining it the way that I do is that you will then make it reversible. So you have the choice of making whatever lining fabric you want, so that way you can flip it inside out and you'll have a whole nother look where the main fabric will then become the contrasting detail. I usually line my baby's hats in satin, but since this is the summertime and I want something as breathable as possible, and this particular baby doesn't have quite as much hair, I wanted to make sure that it had good breathability and it looked really nice with the rest of the piece. So this is the final look. It's so bright, it screams spring and summer. I made extra accessories, little bows for the baby when she grows out of her bonnet and has more hair, or her older sister can use it. I also made an extra custom embroidered reversible hat for the older sister. I hope you enjoyed and got inspired by this lovely machine and all its capabilities. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!